Hey guys, as usual, excuse the absolute state of me. It is Friday, it's Friday evening. The twins are just about going to bed, so I thought it was a good chance to just make this video quickly. I haven't really decided whether I don't know, am I gonna post this yet? Am I gonna post it? I don't know. I'll decide once I've made it whether I don't know whether to kind of post all of these at once after. I should probably tell you what I'm talking about first, shouldn't I? So basically, made the decision. We're going to go down the private autism assessment diagnosis, whatever you want to call it, route. And you start doubting. Well, I start doubting not myself, but the system, whatever you want to call it. Will we have enough evidence? Will we be able to get this done? What if we pay all this money and then we come away with nothing? You can't think like that, can you? So I sat down. I've written 9 pages so far of notes, just like I think I'm upstairs actually, but just background developmental stuff from everything from birth story all the way through to his speech, his walking, everything like that. Then there's social communication, there's food, there's self-care, like dressing, toilet potty training, being able to wash himself, all of those kind of things. And then you look at it and you're like, there's never, how do you explain it? There's never been any doubt to me. I mean, when he was younger, I would have loved somebody to be able to prove me wrong. I didn't want it to be true. So does that make sense? Like, if somebody could have proved me, I was told every minute of every day for a good couple of years that I was crazy. And to an extent, you want that to be true. Like, you'd love to wake up one day and be like, all right, yeah, you're right, he's grown out of it, he's fine now. I knew, as crazy as it sounds, I knew when he was 18 months old that this was lifelong, and I can't explain that. I don't know if I'll ever be able to explain that, but I knew when he was very, very little what it was, and that it was lifelong, that it was going to be something that, not sorry, that would always struggle with, but that would always be there. I knew that it wasn't something he was going to grow out with, but I never in a million years thought that I don't know, I think I thought that initial year would be tough in terms of actually fighting for services and that kind of thing. I don't think I realised that never ever ends. I thought when he was 18 months old, I thought by the time he's 3, we'll have a diagnosis. By the time he starts school, he'll have one-to-one support, he'll have this, he'll have that, he'll have play therapy, everything else. It'll all fall into place. It'll all be wonderful and fine. Yeah, no. The reality is not. Even back when we used to go to stay and play at Fort Royal, because he never attended Fort Royal, we went to the stay and play sessions, which were what do I mean? They were preparing for going to Fort Royal, and then he was the only child in that room that the teachers would come in and introduce themselves, and I'd be like, I still don't know if he's got a place, and they'd be like, oh, we get a place, and then obviously he didn't, and then we went to Waylek instead, which turned out to be the best thing that could have ever happened to him. But yeah, the path that it's all taken has not been the path that I expected. When he was 18 months old, I think I had almost a little plan in my head of this is what happened at what age, and yeah, they would work out very differently. So here we are now. He is 5.5. To be honest, coronavirus isn't helping right now anyway, because I last saw his paediatrician last October. So potentially it would have been a year by the time. Oh my god, it could even be longer, because yeah, we've not had anything come through. We've not had so much as a phone call from his paediatrician since last October. All I've had was he was due to be seen in 6 months. So 6 months from October would have been March. So I suppose, yeah, beginning of pandemic. At some point in maybe April or May, I just had a letter saying because he has no medication to be reviewed, he's not seen as a priority to be seen or spoken to, so push the bottom pile. But yeah, so when I saw her in October, she gave me 2 different forms. One was OT referral, and one was for her to make the initial umbrella pathway referrals. So they were filled in by his teacher after a full term of being at school. So at Christmas, his teacher filled in these forms. I've never seen these forms. I did ask not long before they split from school. I've asked for those forms because I don't know whether I can chase those referrals. That was, at the time, that was my plan, was just to kind of chase those referrals and be like, what's going on? It's been 6 months. I know there's a global pandemic, but what, is something going to happen at some point? So yeah, I've had nothing from those whatsoever. It did say in Jaden's school report that he works best with one-to-one support, which ironically is something that he does not have in place. So yeah, I'm just gearing myself up for the fact that the next 6-12 months is going to be the biggest battle of our lives so far, as much as I thought through preschool was, because obviously I wanted everything in place when he started school. This time last year, we thought we had everything in place because in theory we had in writing in black and white from Preschool Forum that his recommendation was to have 30 hours one-to-one. And he has 0 hours one-to-one, which is quite a drastic difference from having somebody with him every second that he's on school property to having 0 hours. Is quite like, even if he had 15 hours, that would have been something, but he has 0 hours. In year one, obviously, is a completely different thing to the reception anyway, because they're sat at a table, things that he's not necessarily going to be capable of. So so my decision is that we are starting, well, I say starting, it's going to happen fairly quickly, private diagnosis, which, certainly by the time he's 6, that should be done, which, it should have been done 3 years ago, but yeah, by the time he is 6, we will have black and white diagnosis, and it is going to hit me like a ton of, I know that it is, like, even like the last week, making this decision has hit me hard, but yeah, that is the decision. And the other one is EHCP, which, to be honest, EHCP is more important really, because that's obviously where the support side comes from. Diagnosis in black and white on a piece of paper essentially doesn't mean that much. As stupid as that is, he won't automatically get that support because he has a diagnosis, but he also has significant delays, which, academically, I would say he is 2 years delayed. So although his behaviour at school is good at the moment and that kind of thing, the fact that he will not be physically capable of the work that year one are doing, in my mind, he should have somebody with him in all lessons, but whether or not that will be the outcome, we will just have to see. But yeah, parental request for EHCP, I don't know a huge amount about EHCPs. I need to do so much research, but that's going to be what I'm going to be starting in September, is also parental request for EHCP. So it's going to be a big few months. I think turnaround time on EHCPs is supposed to be like, is it 20 weeks or something, which is what, like 4 months? But I would imagine like reviews and things, I believe, aren't even getting done at the moment, because obviously, well, for one thing, kids aren't in school. Most kids aren't in school. And for another thing, they're probably just not in their offices. So I don't know. I'd imagine there'll be a huge backlog. It could easily take, half the year, if not longer. And then the chances are it'll get chucked out. We went through tribunal with DLA. We could well go to tribunal with the HCP. You just don't know. Because of his behaviour and that kind of thing, which to me is disgusting. The fact that a child can mask how much they struggle doesn't mean they don't struggle. And obviously psychologists have come in and assessed him and said, he's a people pleaser. He wants you to like him. He wants you to think that he's okay. He doesn't make his needs known in school. He'll sure as hell make them known once he gets home. But that's a different story. Or not even home, out, coming out the gate of school or whatever else. But in school, because he's not disruptive to other children, because he sits nicely on his chair and all those kind of things, then in terms of money spending to the school, that makes him not a priority, which is disgusting, to be honest. But yeah, hopefully by certainly the end of this academic year we will have an EHCP in place, which will then, I guess get reviewed yearly, but that will stay with him until he's an adult. They can't then, I'm pretty sure they can't then take an EHCP away. So yeah, that's the crazy next few months that we've got ahead of us. His first initial, well, I've got like a Skype or video call interview with the psychologist for his diagnosis, and then he's got his first clinical observation assessment thing in September. So yeah, it's always scary, but it needs to be done, because at this rate, he could, I mean, waiting through the NHS, if you think the huge backlog they're going to have now as well, he could have been 8. That's not even an exaggerate. You know, people can't be easy. We're at that point where he's about to go under umbrella pathway, but children can be under umbrella pathway for God knows how long. So yeah, let's hope and pray that this is the right decision, that this opens some doors, bashes them down, whatever else, but certainly that the HCP is the most important aspect of it, but diagnosis is hopefully going to help too. So yeah, everybody's hopes and prayers and positive thoughts in our direction, please.